Hi everybody, Dr. Zach here. I've been getting a lot of great feedback from a video that I put out last week and an email that I sent out that talked about systemic witchcraft. And in that I kind of dug into, in the Bible, the Greek word for witchcraft or sorcery is pharmakia, and how that resembles words like pharmacology and pharmaceuticals, and even touched on, what if the entire Western medical system is really one that's based upon sorcery. And if so, then that means that it really is kind of a good versus evil thing that goes on when it comes to options regarding our health. And so I wanted to kind of dig a little deeper in this, and I came across an article that talked about the Pfizer COVID vaccine and the research that came out from Pfizer that was hidden and has been uncovered, and looking at major congenital abnormalities in newborns. So this would be essentially if a woman was pregnant and got the COVID jab, which she was told to do during the pandemic because it would be totally safe and totally effective and prevent her from getting and from spreading COVID, and it was totally safe for her babies. Well, what they're finding out is that these adverse events are showing up in babies that are born to moms who receive the COVID shots more than 4 times a higher rate than what would be considered average. So 400% increase over any kind of anomalies that would show up or abnormalities that would show up when a woman wasn't given any kind of medications. And so when we take a look at this, is that 4 times, that's not a small, insignificant number. That's a big number. And just the fact that Pfizer hit it and continued to say that it was safe and effective and that every pregnant woman should get it should make us kind of go, maybe there is some darkness that goes to this. And Pfizer, they've had a long history of doing illegal things and being fined for doing the illegal things. So in fact, if we go back to 2004, we see that Pfizer was fined $430 million for using Neurontin, a really powerful anti-seizure medication, off-label. And it's got effects on it that cause all kinds of neurological damage, and they were using it for everything, using it for a pain modifier, using it for seizures, and everything that went with that. Then we've got the famous lawsuit in 2009. Pfizer was fined $2.3 billion. And this was again for off-label promotion of Bextra, also known as Geodin, Zyvox, and Lyrica. And in addition to using them off-label, they were bribing doctors, bribing physicians to prescribe these medications. And so when you take a look at that, that's actually a criminal offense. And so Pfizer's not been a good company. In fact, we take a look at other companies that have received some big fines. The biggest one in 2012 was GlaxoSmithKline, which is also in the vaccine business. They were fined $3 billion, $1 billion criminal, $2 billion civil. We look at Johnson & Johnson, which we're all familiar with all the stuff they did, and they were fined $2.2 billion in 2013 for bribery and for off-label promotion. We've got, the list goes on. Merck, another big company, 2008, $650 million fine for Medicare fraud and for kickbacks, which is bribery on their Zocor, Vioxx, and Pepcid. Purdue Pharma, this is one that everybody should be familiar with. They pushed the OxyContin and said that it's not addictive. And OxyContin was the opioid painkiller that has led to the opioid pandemic, or the fentanyl pandemic that we're seeing right now. And so we see these drug companies have a long history of not necessarily being good, not actually healing or curing anything, but being involved in criminal activity. So we start to look at that and kind of go, well, maybe there is some darkness that's involved in our healthcare industry. And if that is indeed the case, maybe that's one of the reasons why, as a culture, as a society, we're still the sickest in the world here in the United States, because we have more faith in this pharmakia, in this sorcery or this witchcraft, than we do in the power that created us and animates us and allows our bodies to be self-adapting, self-healing, and self-regulating. as long as we treat them properly, as long as we steward them properly. So again, this is one of those things where it's a big wake-up call to us. COVID was probably one of the best things that came around, because people that were considered nut job anti-vaxxers prior to COVID, now we've got a whole bunch of people that are vaccine hesitant because they recognize that we've been lied to. And it didn't start at COVID. It goes back a long, long, long time. The deeper you dig, the deeper you see that it goes. So with that said, I just want to say that there's a better way, that we're not dependent upon a drug company coming up with a solution so that we can be well, that we are created to be well, and that if we just start taking care of ourselves the way that we should, start treating ourselves the way that we're designed to be treated, then we get to experience the greatness of that health, the healing ability of our body, the adapting ability of our bodies. So with that said, continue to spread the news that we've been lied to, but we're going to do everything we can to get the truth out, because the truth is what's going to set people free. So God bless you, and make today a great one.